Today we are going to take you through a complete installation of a 700R4 transmission and a torque converter. Here is our test car and the transmission we are going to install today. The first step to your installation is to make sure the coolant lines are flushed out completely to remove all contaminants that might be in the lines. The next step is the torque converter installation. To ensure proper installation, spin the torque converter on the input shaft and make sure the converter clicks into place. You can check this by trying to put your fingers between the torque converter and the transmission. You should not be able to put your hand in between. Warning: if the torque converter is not installed properly, you will blow the pump. The next step is to install the transmission to the engine block. Now you're going to recheck the torque converter and make sure that it spins freely, like so in the video. Next, before bolting up the torque converter, be sure to find the starter hole on the flex plate. Take a screwdriver or a small pry bar and move the torque converter flush to the flex plate, like so. Next, you're going to install all 3 torque converter bolts. The next step will be to install the transmission mount and cross member. The next step is to install the drive shaft. When installing the drive shaft, you want to make sure all the bolts are nice and tight. Now that you're done installing the drive shaft, you want to go through the complete transmission and make sure all your bolting is done correctly. Now you're ready to connect your detank cable. Make sure your detank cable is connected properly. You will approximately have a ½ inch of pull on the cable before attaching it to your throttle body or carburetor. The cable is the most important thing on the 700R4 because it controls all the pressures. If the cable is not set correctly, you will burn it up. Now, with the vehicle turned off, add 4 quarts of a regular Dextron Mercron 3. The next step is to add 6 quarts of fluid while the engine is running. Start up the vehicle and add as follows. Once all the fluid is in, get in the vehicle and go from reverse to drive. Then put it in park and check the fluid. Add if necessary. After you road tested on the lift, now comes your final step. Go through of all your work and recheck all the bolts and make sure there are no leaks throughout the transmission.